Hello everyone. In this particular slide, we are looking at a basic convolutional neural network model architecture. So we essentially have these convolutional layer as well as hidden layer, which are responsible for feature extraction here. So it's not necessary that you'll have only one single convolutional layer and one single hidden layer here. You can have multiple such convolutional layers and hidden layers here. We already know that hidden layers or dense layers does have these complex representations of your input data. So we discussed briefly about the multi-layer perceptron architecture, where we also have understood the different nonlinear activations that we can use, which induces a nonlinearity and also generates these complex representations of your input data here. Okay. So what exactly is a convolutional layer doing here? And how are we extracting features from the given image data? So the image data, whatever we had, we were not converting that into a one-dimensional tensor object at all in case of CNN. So we try to retain the image data as is, but still use this convolutional layer, right? And do some operation on this existing image to derive some feature. So what is a convolution operation here? And how are we extracting features by applying this particular filter or kernel that we have discussed in the previous session onto this particular image is what forms the subject of this discussion here. Okay. So before we delve deeper into it, let's try and understand it with the help of a simple example. We are now talking about the convolution operation. So when we are talking about the convolution operation, so we essentially have something called as a filter or kernel. So we are now dealing with a filter or kernel, which is of shape 3 by 3. So we have 3 different rows and 3 different columns here. So we have this particular data of 101, 010, 101. Okay. So this is a kernel that I'm going to consider. I'm convoluting this particular kernel onto this image data. Whatever image data that you are currently observing is of shape 6 by 6. And obviously this data here appears to be normalized data. So whatever data that you might expect to be in the scale of 0 to 255, when it's normalized, it's in the scale of 0 to 1. Essentially, we are looking at white or black dots here. So 1 would represent white in color and 0 would represent black in color, especially when you actually perform the data normalization. So now I apply this particular filter or kernel onto this particular image. So this is a patch that I'm currently observing. So all these values 101, 010, 101 are now represented in the bottom right hand side corner of each of these cells. We're now taking a product of these pixel values along with this respective value present in the filter or kernel, and whatever weighted sum that you deduce is now written as output here within the feature map. Okay, this output that you are talking about here is nothing but the feature map, which is of shape 3 by 3. We later understand how we are attaining this shape of 3 by 3, but for now let's focus on what exactly is a convolution operation here. The convolution operation is essentially applying this particular filter or kernel onto a specific area of the image and try to compute the weighted sum of it. The weighted sum here is now written as a result in the feature map. So this here is a target pixel that we are observing. So this here is a target pixel. The target pixel in this whole convolution operation is nothing but a pixel at the center. Now you are considering all the surrounding pixels and trying to understand, is there any significant change surrounding to this particular target pixel or not, right? Whenever we are computing these weighted sum for the patch of pixels, it's necessarily combining the information from all the surrounding pixels relative to the target pixel. This here is a target pixel, right? If there is any significant change, such as a strong edge or a gradient, the result of the convolution will reflect this particular output in the feature map. Okay, it will reflect that particular edge or gradient as a value in the feature map. That's what I'm trying to help you explain. Okay, so in the next iteration or in the next convolution operation, we are just sliding that particular filter by 1. Okay, here the column stride is 1. We're also considering row stride to be 1. So since the column stride is 1, so you slide this particular filter by 1 column for the next operation. You perform the operation again, you take the weighted sum of it. The target pixel here is going to be this one. The equivalent weighted sum that you compute will be now 3 here. So similarly, you slide it again, and now whatever value, the weighted sum that you compute by considering all the surrounding pixels of a specific target pixel, the resultant value is now represented in the feature map. Since all of these pixels are exhausted, so now you cannot have this one as target pixel since you do not find the surrounding pixels. So you do not have values for this particular column. There's no column. It's out of bounds especially, right? So whenever it is out of bounds, you generally go to the next row, right? So you take a look at what row stride is. Since row stride also is set as 1, you move to the next row. Now the target pixel is going to be this one. The equivalent weighted sum here is going to be 2. The convolution operation that we are doing is repetitive till you actually fill up all these respective values within this particular feature map. So all what we have tried to do here is to extract these values for feature map by considering a filter, by convoluting this filter onto this image or convoluting this filter on multiple patches or multiple regions within the same image, right? Each and every value within the feature map is explaining something about a localized region of this particular image. It tries to understand if there is any significant change surrounding to a specific target pixel, like if there is a particular edge or a gradient, then it would represent the resultant presence of that particular edge or a gradient in the form of a value in the feature map. So that's all what I'm trying to explain here. It's considering a localized region, trying to understand or interpret what could be the feature that you can extract from it by considering the kernel. The kernel here could be anything. It could be a simple edge detection, or whenever you're trying to perform the convolutional operation, you might be trying to understand what could be the patterns around it, or are there any other objects that are surrounding to that particular target pixel or not. Could be anything, right? Since we have fairly understood the convolution operation, I would also like to explain the meaning of lost pixels. So why are we only looking at having a particular feature map of shape 3 by 3 when the image shape itself is 5 by 5? We were not able to consider any of these pixel values in the first row and in the last row and in the first column and in the last column as target pixels. We never considered any of these highlighted pixels as target pixels since we encounter these out of bounds. And hence, we only have restricted ourselves to considering this inner pixels or inner region to be target pixels. And hence, we are only observing a shape of 3 by 3 for your feature map. Okay, I believe you have understood. The lost pixels here is nothing but you just convolute for your target pixel, which is nothing but the one that I have highlighted here. And in the subsequent slide, this is your target pixel, and your subsequent one, this is your target pixel. And this one again is a target pixel. And then subsequent slide, you cannot consider this one as a target pixel since it is out of bounds. Do not have data for this particular column at all. And hence you basically cannot compute the weighted sum and eventually cannot complete your convolution operation here. So in this particular example that we are considering, the image shape is 6 by 6. The filter shape is going to be 3 by 3. And essentially your feature map shape is going to be what? The feature map shape is going to be 4 by 4 because you are going to consider all of these particular pixels that I am highlighting as target pixels. So the first row and the last row, the first column and the last column are now being excluded because we encounter this out of bounds issue, the lost pixels issue, and hence your feature map is restricted to shape of 4 by 4. Or simply you can interpret this particular formula that I have written where x and y are nothing but the dimensions of image. The filter size here is going to be m by n. So we clearly know it is 6 by 6 for image size. Filter size it's going to be 3 by 3. And obviously 6 minus 3 plus 1 comma 6 minus 3 plus 1 is going to result in the output shape of 4 by 4, which is a shape for your feature map. That's all what I'm trying to explain here. Okay. But you still can attain the shape of your feature map to be matching with your image shape, especially when you employ padding strategies. Let's say that you are just trying to pad all zeros for your top row here, all zeros for your columns as well. So I'm just padding all of these as zeros in rows and columns, right? Now you can have all of these pixels that are represented within this particular image as target pixels, since you do not encounter that out of bounds issue anymore. Because in your first convolution operation with your filter of shape 3 by 3, now you are looking at considering this particular patch Since we already have padded them with zeros, since we already have padded these last pixels with zeros, you can consider this one, this particular first pixel within the actual image to be as target pixel now. So obviously you can derive the weighted sum here and then draw an equivalent value for it in its respective feature map. So this padding strategy is called as same padding strategy, since you are having the same value for all of these lost pixels. So when you do not have any padding, you essentially have only the feature map with shape of 3 by 3, then it's called as valid padding strategy. You're not doing any padding. And that's when you attain this particular feature map of shape 3 by 3 when your original image is of shape 5 by 5. Okay. I believe you have understood. So you basically can change this particular, you can alter this particular formula that we already have dealt with. So this is without padding, we already have dealt with it. With padding, you're just adding 2 to both x and y here, since we are adding 2 rows and 2 columns additionally here. On dimension 0, on x, on direction x, you're now adding 2 different columns, and on y or in dimension 1, you're adding 2 different rows. And obviously you basically have added this 2 for both x and y here, which changes this particular formula, but ultimately you will arrive at a feature map with matching with the size of what your original image had. So your feature map, your resultant feature map will have a shape of 5 by 5, which is matching with your original image of shape 5 by 5 here. Okay, cool. So we pretty much have understood what the convolution layer is. The convolutional layer basically considers your input data, does the convolution operation, considers your kernel or filter, apply it onto the different localized regions within the image, and try to derive something called as feature map. So whatever values that you are observing on the filter, so let's say that this is a filter, this is a Previtt filter, whatever values that you are currently observing here within the filter are nothing but the weights. You're using the same values and trying to slide it on to the different regions within the image. So that is, the different regions within a particular image are now sharing the weights. You're using the same weights. Obviously, these are nothing but the learnable parameters. In your iterative process, in your iterative training process, you basically keep on updating these weights. But at a given time, you are essentially reusing the weights for different localized regions within a particular image. Whereas in MLP, you had weight associated with every connection of a particular neuron in hidden layer with respect to all of its previous neurons within the previous layer, right? So far we have only covered about grayscale images. Generally spoke about how the convolutional operation is taken place by considering this filter of shape 3 by 3 over an image of 5 by 5. Okay, I believe you have pretty much understood on what a convolution operation is and what are the different padding strategies that one can employ and how you arrive at the resultant feature map for a given image by considering a given filter. Whatever values that are defined within the filter or kernel are nothing but the weights. The weights are shared across the different localized regions of a given image at any given particular point of time. Okay, so that's all in this particular session, and see you in the next. Thanks for watching.